Hi, and welcome to Trust and Obey with Chuck Frank. This is a Wednesday evening GRIFF entitled Pray or Be Pray. What the heck does that mean? Well, one of the clues is this is about some kind of pray, right? And a lot of the videos we've been putting up emphasize the issue of prayer because it's our only line of defense. We've been set up so big and so bad, and the bulk of our populace is totally clueless about what's coming, and it's all coming rapidly like 10 locomotives. And then we bring up the concept of prayer, and it's like, pray? What the heck does that even mean? Like, you asking me to grow gills and swim the English Channel. That's how odd prayer is in our country. And for most Christians, prayer is God as the fire extinguisher. We don't need him around until there's an emergency, and then we just want to grab him and spray him all over the thing, and he'll fix it. Doesn't work that way. Just doesn't. And it's no good for me to talk about it because I'm a contemporary of everybody, and then just go, I don't want to hear this guy talk about prayer. So how about this? We're going to let Jesus, the Son of God, the Messiah, he spoke specifically about prayer, and he went right to the bone on it. It's not complicated, okay? He gave it in a parable. Why? He had to tell stories to people. It's like Netflix, right? No one's got an attention span, right? Even back then, you couldn't get into a heavy analytical discussion. So he had to TikTok them with parables, and now we're in even worse shape. So we're going to hear the parable of the persistent widow. Okay, this is Luke chapter 18. Luke's writing this down. He's a physician, he's a scientist, he's a detailed guy, right? And this is what Jesus Christ said, the parable of the persistent widow. Then he spoke a parable to them that men always ought to pray and not lose heart. What's he mean by that? He means that prayer is some heavy lifting, and it's a long haul gig, and it's not what the majority of Americans think it is. It's certainly not the fire extinguisher thing. But for most Americans, it's like, oh, gee, I got a minute or two here. Let me get this order in with God, right? Okay, God, these are the things I need. I need this and this and this and this, and I really, honestly, I'm just being honest with you. I need it by this weekend, and I could wait till Monday at the latest. And what do you think God thinks of that? Is that a relationship? That's why he created you. He wanted a relationship with you. But that's what are you doing? You're waving somebody's ID card and getting into Costco? Is that the way that operates? You don't have any relationship. And Jesus is telling you, uh, you ought not to lose heart. What do you think is going to happen to the person that uses God as the order taker, right? That person has already lost heart. They're not going to get an answer to that prayer. And then they're going to go, this God, forget this. This doesn't work. I need some Bezos action. I need some Prime, right? I need to order it and I need it to show up. That's the kind of God I'm looking for. And that's not the kind of God you're going to get. What you're going to get is Najee and Muhammad and their AK 47. Okay? You're not going to like that. So let's see what Jesus is really talking about. He says, men always ought to pray and not lose heart, saying, here's the story. There was in a certain city a judge who did not fear God nor regard man. He didn't care about God. He didn't care about his fellow man. He sounds to me like Juan Merchan, right? Or any one of those clown judges in New York City that we've been watching. Okay? He did not care he didn't fear God, and he had no regard for man. Now, there was a widow in that city, and she came to him saying, "Get justice for me from my adversary." And he would not for a while. But afterward, he said within himself, he said to himself, "Though I do not fear God, nor regard man, yet because this widow troubles me, I will avenge her, lest by her continual coming she weary me." Then the Lord said, "Hear what the unjust judge said." Jesus is saying, listen up. Do you see this guy who doesn't fear God and doesn't care about his fellow man? But this widow keeps coming to him. And what's he saying? I'm going to get this girl some justice because she is bugging the hell out of me. I will do it. Even though I don't care about anyone or anything, I don't want to be badgered. And Jesus is saying, that's how you have to pray. If you really want to save your country, you got to get on your knees and you got to let God know that this is important. It's important to you and it's important to him. So let's see what Jesus says. Then the Lord said, "Hear what the unjust judge said. And shall not God avenge his own elect who cry out day and night to him, though he hears long with them?" He's saying, if that contemptuous, crooked judge will give justice to that widow, how much more will the God of heaven, who loves you and wants a relationship with you and wants the best for you, how much more will he perform than that judge? And Jesus says, I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man comes, will he really find faith on the earth? That's a bad finish for us. He's saying, you know what? There's an emergency that gets your attention. You're under duress, that gets your attention. You might even get on your knees and say, I don't want a pandemic too. I don't want thousands of trained mercenaries with automatic weapons visiting my suburb and killing everybody with impunity and not stopping until they're dead. That's a bad scene. And Jesus is saying, okay, you know what? You might pray hard because this threat is real. But when I come back, it's going to be on a day when everything's going great. And do you think I'll find anybody praying? Hmm. Everybody has to reassess this. Okay. This is not optional if you want to save your country. It's optional for each individual. You can say, you know what? I don't care about this. We'll see what happens. Okay. You don't care. There's no reason God should. I mean, he gives us umpteen opportunities to get with the program, but we have free will through the whole thing. But I'm telling you, this is our shot at saving our country. It is getting on our knees and praying just as Jesus describes it, like that widow. Just keep coming. God, please, please don't let evil overrun my country. Don't let it threaten people. Don't let it make them sick. Don't let it give them fake medications that poison them. Don't let them collapse the economy. I really don't know what else to say to this. This is the thing that you can do. You need no equipment. You need no training. You just need to get on your knees and tell God how important it is for you as an American to preserve this constitutional republic. And if enough of you do this, God will thwart all of this evil. But if we don't care enough to ask sincerely and repeatedly and with conviction and constantly, I don't know what's going to happen. But I wouldn't anticipate good things. So please take this seriously. And please get on your knees and ask God to save us. And God will bless you. Thank you.
I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of